addresses so that you make sure that they're not ending up in spam and having like a super high bounce rate. So first things first, we want to make sure that the bounce rate of our email campaigns, as cold email campaigns, is lower than 2%, right? Any higher than that, you're probably going to have an issue with either your technical setup or you are not validating, verifying email addresses. So like I said, in this video, I'm going to show you two different ways. One is using a tool called Clay. Now, this is a more expensive way. You can just connect it to Debounce because that's technically what I'm doing. But I use Clay and then I have an API connection to Debounce. Debounce is the verification tool. Clay is just a more expensive version of spreadsheets. It allows you to do so many more things. I can make another video separately on like all the different things that you can actually do with Clay. But in terms of the verifying the email addresses, basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a table. So you're going to have your leads, you're going to have everything in here. You're going to have the email addresses here. What you're going to do is you're going to come over here and you're going to come over to enrich data. And we're going to click on enrich data and we're going to go over to validate and we go validate email addresses. Then now I've already done this for this particular thing, but we want to find the email address. So for example, we're going to map this. Hold on, let me just do it a different way. So we're just going to map this. So these are the email addresses that it's found from using like different data providers like Prospeo, Drop Contact, Tagma, and so on and so forth, Find Email and so on. Now, when they find the email address, it's not verified, right? Same if you were exporting a list from like Apollo or anything else. Unless it's a specific verification tool, you want to make sure that you're verifying the email addresses, right? So, and only use a specific verification tool for that. If you're using Apollo or any of these other like email data providers and they're finding email addresses for you, you want to make sure you just run them through like a dedicated email verifier, right? And the two that I'm using are either Million Verifier here, which is cheap and simple to use, or you can use Debounce as well. And I'm just showing it through Clay, which is the table that I pull all the information together and how I build the list in the first place. So if you were to use it in Clay, it's very simple. You would have a column that says the email once you found the email, right? And we're just gonna, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So we're gonna enrich the data and we're gonna go over to validate. Oh, that's not the one. Let's go back. Validate email. So validate email here. And then in the input column, we're going to add in the email column that we want to validate. So in this case, it would just be email here. And we want to make sure that we only send to safe to send. So that means with emails, there's three types. You've got good emails, risky emails, and then you've got bad emails. Bad emails, absolutely no. Risky emails, again, absolutely no. Unless it's a good, safe to send email, do not send it, because otherwise, or try different ways of verifying it, or try different data providers to verify it, or to find different email potentials, basically. You don't want to send to anything that's like a catch-all or risky, just because you're going to have a probability higher that it's going to bounce, right? And we don't want too high of a bounce rate, because then that's going to cause our emails to go into spam over time, because it looks like we're just sending to wrong email addresses, basically, and it's going to damage our domain deliverability. So want to make sure that this is selected, and then it's very, very simple. You just come over to basically go over to here and you're going to save and run the first 10 rows. Now, I've already done this, but the way that it would work, in fact, I'm just going to show it for example purposes. It would go over to validate the email and it would just queue it and then it would run through. You can do exactly the same thing if you go over to Debounce, and you can basically add in and upload your CSV, and exactly the same way that you would want to do it on Million Verifier. So you would just log in, and then you can buy credits. It's relatively cheap, so you can get 10K verifications for, I think, $15. So yeah, you would just basically upload your list here, upload email list, and then give it like 5, 10, 15 minutes or something. And then basically after that, it should be ready. And then only export the good to go emails, so the ones that say good. And then same for Million Verifier here, right? You can see here it says good emails, risky emails, and bad emails. When you download, you have the option to download good emails only. Pick that option. Now, you can use the other one, so risky emails. You can actually recycle those leads. And what I mean by that is if they're risky emails, you could then take that list and you could put it through a different data provider. So for example, if you've gone through Hunter to find email addresses and it's come back with like 10% that are risky, you could download that 10% that are risky and put them through Prospeo, for example, right? And then by putting them through Prospeo, you might be able to increase, like, say, go from 10% to 5%. So 5%, you found basically an extra 5% of emails that are good. And then you can re-upload them through here, or you can put them through Debounce. It really just depends. The pricing is pretty damn similar. I would just buy a whole bunch of credits. The reason I use Clay is just because it's easier and I can build the entire list all in one place, and it just makes life so much easier and better. And then once you've got here, you can just click on this. You can click down on valid emails, and then you would just add this as column, and you would just put like valid emails, and then you would just either push this to Smart Lead, or you can download and export the list essentially, which allows you to do here to download as a CSV. And then once they're verified, that's when you then upload it to your email sequencing tool. Do not upload it unless you verify the emails. So if you're getting straight from Apollo, make sure that you export the list of, it will say verified or valid emails. You want to still put it through a dedicated email service provider that is validating emails. So again, Debounce, Million Verify are the ones I use, but there's also Never Bounce, Zero Bounce, things like that. There's all sorts of different ones. So just make sure you're putting it through one that's dedicated. And then once you've got that, it might remove a bunch of the emails, but you're better off sending to a smaller list that has actually dedicated emails. And like I said, you can still recycle some of the other emails and find different email variations that could actually be the verified email of that. So yeah, hopefully that video has been useful. Make sure to do this. This is a crucial step. Do not skip this. And again, we're using Clay here to be able to do this all in one place rather than have to import, export, upload, and all this kind of stuff. This just connects to the Debounce API and my account, and then I can do it from there. So yeah, hopefully this video is useful. And yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.